I will say it once, and I'll say it again, which is 3 times, for no apparent reason.
It's amazing. Last year, when I was working on a show that shall not be mentioned, we were working with you, Steve, as you probably remember, and we got this very thrusting director called Phil, who's extremely thrusting and extremely kind of professional and doesn't have time for anybody.
I was wondering what he was doing with his hips. And
yes, that's what he was doing. He actually impregnated several of the crew while you were there, but you probably didn't notice that. No. And he doesn't have much time for actors, comedians, or anybody on the planet, really. And it's the only time I've ever seen him show his human face. It was when we were filming with you, when you were doing your running. He couldn't even bring himself to say cut. He thought it was so hysterically funny.
Yeah, well, people often ask me about this, and I say to people, laughter makes the world go round.
That's a beautiful thought on Samantha's Sunday night party, Steve.
And people often people either say to me that's a beautiful thought, or they punch me in the face.
I wouldn't do that to one of them. Ian might later, because he's ever so vicious when roused, as you can tell by looking at him.
I know, yeah.
He's an animal.
Doing a bit of thrusting too, by the looks of it.
I think so. You see, that's why all of his hair's fallen out, because he's so fertile.
Well, some people say no hair. Big Willie. But I say no hair, bald.
Steve Coogan, he went on to become Alan Partridge and who else? And Paul Calf and all of those other people. And he also appeared in a Samantha's Sunday Night Christmas panto 3 or 4 years ago.
I think he was most of the cast, wasn't he?
He was most of the cast, and not very good, actually. Unfortunately, he did this.
I think we did it under slightly difficult circumstances, because it seemed that every time we actually got together to record something, we had to do it somewhere different. Sometimes we had to do it in Studio One, and then sometimes we'd have to do it in Milton Keynes.
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't.
It wasn't easy at all. But he, all the way through, this was the panto in which I married Barry Norman, and we couldn't actually get Barry Norman, so we got Steve to do Barry Norman. Unfortunately, it's the worst Barry Norman impression any of us had ever heard, and it sounded like I was marrying John Motson, unfortunately, which didn't have quite the same feel about it. Dear Samantha, Mike, Ian, Paul, Gary and Lisa, I'm writing to answer the competition question. I'm also writing to thank you for the great deal of pleasure that you and your programme has given me through the years, and for the goodie bags which I've won twice on your show. I've listened since Mandy was on the show, the Worm Song, and the Worm Song was a regular feature. I've no idea how long ago that was, and was sad to hear the news that your show was to be no more, especially since this letter's got no punctuation. No more, especially since you will be unable to play your great taste in music at your new job, although I do agree with Ian about Echo Ballet. I also wondered whether it would be possible for your employers to commission a show called Samantha's Friday Night Party or Samantha's Saturday Night Party, which you could fit in more easily with your Monday to Friday morning job. I'm amazed that Radio 1 has never given you your own show, especially after them showing their appreciation of your show on several occasions. Copying is apparently the sincerest form of flattery. Also, maybe you could put out a best-of compilation album one Sunday night to remind those of us with fond memories of your show over the years and of the changing lineup of talented broadcasters you've had on the party. Thanks again, from Andrew Graffam in Lichfield. Thank you for that letter, Andrew. Hello to Phil in Edgbaston from Naomi in Moseley. If you'd like to ring in with a dedication, you can, or if you'd like to enter the competition, the question, you've got to be able to go and see Carter on Tuesday night in Birmingham, and the question is, what does USM stand for in Carter USM? You can win tickets to go and see them on Tuesday. The number to call if you think you know, or if you'd like to phone in with your dedications and jokes, this could be for the last time actually, is 0121 if you're outside Birmingham, 432 2000. Now it's time for Ian.
You're listening to radio station WOOD, The Bald FM.
Memories. Well, no papers this week, but
there's just no room.
No room. There is, however, room for the 2-minute introduction to Marvellous from the Lightning Seeds, taken from their album Jollification, which is too long. However, we're going to put that to good use now with the second of my infamous horoscopes. Capricorn, the goat. There might come a time when he's treading on you. Don't tread on an ant, you'll end up black and blue. You cut off his head, legs come running for you. Aquarius, the water bearer. Ever the sign of extreme loyalty, even you have to admit their new single's rubbish. Pisces, the fish. Your search for the best outlet for your talent goes on. Don't give up. Somewhere out there, someone must need a Piscean who can stick the first centimetre of his tongue up his own nostril. Aries, the ram. You're bored, you're bothered, you're bewildered. You're the opening line of an item on London Tonight. Taurus, the bull. We know a ring about you, don't we? And although you may be slightly the worse for wear and not what you used to be, you're at least handily placed for Birmingham city centre. Gemini, the twins. Without a doubt, the future is yours. Long life, health, happiness, popularity and wealth all await you, as sure as night follows day. That's except for viewers in Scotland. Cancer, the crab. Don't rush to judgment or conclusions. Caution is the watchword. On the other hand, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But fools rush in where angels fear to tread. However, who dares win? I hope this clarifies things for you. Leo, the lion. Enjoy this, your last week as Leo. There is absolutely stuff all you can do about the fact that the International Convention of Astrologers has unanimously voted to rename you Brian the Lion. Virgo, the Virgin. The celestial movement of stars and planets has left Uranus a prominent feature in the lives of those around you, lard butt. Libra, the Scales. Your cheery disposition can lead others to take advantage of you. Forestall this by kicking 7 bells out of the next person who looks at you funny. Scorpio, the Scorpion. Even though you fooled your soul, your conscience will be mine. Qua qua da diddly qua qua.
You OD'd on Adamant albums or something, Ian?
Sagittarius, the Archer. Is that an arrow in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? Jeffrey, the Archer. Life is an open book. In your case, it's a scarcely believable hyped-up paperback. Ed, the Horse. Still smarting because you were found to be funny for only 1/10 of a second? Perhaps you could form a support group with the cast of The Upper Hand. Jabba, the Hutt. Now, what's more important? Dominion over every life form in the cosmos, or losing those pounds you piled on over Christmas? I think you know the answer to that, so put down that 99 and get yourself down to any gym in Middlesbrough. You'll blend in, trust me. And finally, L, the Body McPherson.
Thank you very much for that, Ian. All the
Russell Grant, eat your
I
little heart out.
know. All the very best, say Marie and Margaret in Broadway. Thank you very much to both of you, and thank you for phoning in every week and writing to me a lot. That was really sweet of you. Now we'll have another one of those nice records. Or shall we? Or should we have a bit more of famous people that I've interviewed?
Here's Samantha talking to herself.
Let's have Gary. Should we have Gary Newman or should we drop him? What do you think, Ian?
Have him, I think.
Okay, here's our Gaz, who's been on this programme more often than I have, and he's talking to me. This whole kind of gaggle of humanoids in black jumpsuits, wearing white pants stick and black eyeliner. Are those the kind of people that goes to your gigs these days, or is it a big cross-section?
Again, I think because I've been around for so long, then it has evolved. Because all the people that were humanoids that are still part of it have now, they're now married or whatever, and got kids a lot.
He called Newman